Was a girl running in a group. She had a high-speed motor in a 40 Ford coupe. She had a racing cam and a supercharged. Look at Buddy, hot rod and large. She's a hot rod. She's a hot rod.
I got a couple things we're going to talk about here. There's some things going on in the car business. It's just not pretty. Hyundai and its sister company Kia have set aside $760 million to settle engine fire lawsuits in over 4 million of their various models. 4 million lawsuits for engine fire. Come on. You don't give me all the years here, but it's crazy. Hyundai will pay 600 million won, or I just love that won, or $507 million, while Kia will set aside 300 million won, or 253 million buckers. I got to tell you, this is pretty cool. This latest settlement covers software to boost safety and performance, as well as cash compensation with free lifetime warranties and free inspections. Whew. In the United States, the two car makers have recalled 1.7 million of these engine fire prospects. And now the NHTSA is investigating whether these recalls covered enough models. Wow. And if the work is being done in a timely manner. 4 million vehicles? That's not enough? That's an awful lot of car fires. Jeez, oh Pete. Buy a Hyundai, you get a bag of hot dogs. AAA Motor Club has posted an addendum to their report on auto braking systems on their test of 4 midsize sedans. Chevy Malibu, Honda Accord, Toyota Camry, and Tesla Model 3. I can't wait to see. They can't see well at night at all, or on right turns. What? What's with only on right turns? How come you can't see on right turns? Is there a different camera on the right than the left? I don't get it. I don't get it. Toyota, the uncontested leader in hybrid vehicles, is announcing it will increase its battery warranty on them from 8 years, 100,000 miles, to 10 years and 150,000 miles. They're making super batteries now, or they're having complaints. You tell me. But they're raising it up to 10 years and 150,000 miles. That's a good thing. You got to buy a battery pack? Is that baby expensive? Oh, yeah, that's a 10 grand battery pack. One of the little-known bargaining chips in the GM strikes negotiation is the proposed construction of a new lithium battery plant in Lordstown, Ohio, for the new planned electric vehicles. Yeah, they're just using it for a little bribery, saying, dangling up, hey, we're going to build another plant now. We're going to put some more people to work. Well, we'll see. James Dyson, the bagless vacuum inventor, who was hot to trot building 3 electric vehicles models, he has decided to cancel the project. The first scheduled model was due out to roll out in 2021, using Dyson's designs of electric motors and batteries. But alas, much like Dyson's other inventions, this one sucked the wind also. I had to write this one. It's not working. Maybe he found that the sucking up dirty dirt is a whole lot easier than trying to drive an electric car down the street. I don't know. That's a different motor. The Nobel Prize in Chemistry was just awarded to 3 pioneers in what else? Lithium-ion battery development. Stanley Whittingham, Akira Lashino, and John Goodenough are developing power sources that are going to revolutionize our lives. I wish. They're going to have batteries. They're going to be outstanding. I mean, this whole battery thing. Remember when they first came out? Whoa, we have a range of about 100 miles. Well, you know what? That's not it. That's not going to get it. You know what I'm saying? But now, there's something else. Fiat Chrysler is going to pay, or they're facing, a $79 million U.S. penalty again for fuel economy shortfall. They can't get the corporate fuel economy up to where it belongs. Every year it's a different level. Last year, that Italian-American automaker paid $77.3 million for the model year 2016 for a fuel economy shortfall. That's what one of the company spokesman said. This is terrible. They're going to pay that much again, and they're going to pay 10. Let's see. Fiat Chrysler said Wednesday it still plans to spend $10 billion through 2022 to develop more than 30 hybrid electric vehicles. The problem with the Fiat Chrysler is they're behind the scene. They're behind the eight ball. They haven't developed all their cars. They haven't got everything ready. It's just it's not going to work. They haven't. Their corporate fuel economy is never going to get up where it belongs if you don't have electrics and hybrids. That brings the average up and down. This is such a racket and such a game. They let these guys buy points from other car companies. If a car company is way below the average they're supposed to be, they earn points. And they can sell those points to a car company that's above the average to bring them down. So who's benefited here? Certainly not the atmosphere. It's not going to happen. It's just the way it is. We got to start talking. I got some news for you about the strike. We need to talk about this strike. The GM strike against UAW strike against GM. They're only striking one car company. I think everybody knows why. They're picking on GM. Simply GM wants to close plants and they're going to move some stuff to Mexico or whatever. And UAW is not happy about it. So they thought, well, we're going to have a strike this year. We're going to strike these guys first. Well, it's cost them. Well, check this out. All right? Let me talk to you about it. We are now in the 5th week of the UAW strike against General Motors. And I feel it's time to bring my listeners up to date on a few statistics and effects. And it's affecting a lot. In the beginning, GM was claiming losses of $10 million per day. That has now risen to $90 million. And it's going up. By the end of this week, GM may have accrued losses of $1 billion. And last week, the UAW chief negotiator said that talks had taken a turn for the worse. In other words, they're not close. Remember, these are monies that will not be recouped, and they take dollars away from research and development for all important electric vehicles. This race that everybody's in, as well as autonomous driving research. Plus, the strike has the potential to create a one-state recession in Michigan. Every car company's big in Michigan, let's face it. That's where we're at with it. Nearly 50,000 UAW rank and file are off the job and receiving only $250 a week in strike pay. I think that went up to $275 last week, as opposed to $30 per hour as their regular pay. This amounts to $15 million per day in losses to workers and their families, and the Michigan economy as well, as income taxes, sales taxes on spending that has to be curtailed because they're on strikers' pay. I got to tell you, in Michigan, the ripple effect is unbelievable. It goes right down to the suppliers. It goes right back to people, even the people that make the screws that hold the trim in, and all these are suppliers that are stagnant now. If you made some parts for GM, if you had a small manufacturing plant, and your claim to fame was you made parts for General Motors, guess what you're doing right now? You're drinking coffee and smoking cigars and thinking, what am I going to do next? You're laying people off? This is the way it happens. I'm just telling you. This strike has shut down 33 plants in 9 states and 22 parts distribution plants. Non-union plants in Canada and Mexico are out of parts. Okay, they're done. So they are idle at last. At last report, 1,200 Canadians are out of work. Don't have any statistics on Mexico as yet. In addition to General Motors General Motors suppliers are forced to cut back on their operations and lay off workers at an estimated loss of $18 to $25 million a day. These are small companies in small towns that people work in, and they ship small parts or they supply. whatever it takes to build a car, all the goodies it takes to build a car. People make axles, they make alternators, they make whatever they make. And their families are living on, well, their families, the suppliers are not union. They're not living on anything. They got nothing. My shop, I got to tell you, my shop, I had people that have General Motors cars that can't be fixed till the strike is over. I can't get parts. I'll remind me. I'll remind me. When I come back from the next break, I'm going to tell you a story about a car that, hey, this poor guy, he almost didn't get his car back. And it's all because of this strike. And it has nothing to do with the dealers. I mean, these dealers are suffering too. These poor guys, the dealers got no parts. They got nothing. They got no cars to sell. They're running out of cars to sell. I mean, people are afraid to buy GMs right now. So sales are way down. People are afraid to buy them. They don't know if the GM's going to stay on strike or maybe they're going to go out of business. You don't know. You have no idea what the outcome of this is going to be. Nobody does. And if they settle the strike tomorrow, GM has already lost, what I tell you, $1 billion as of the end of last week. I mean, maybe that's nothing to them, right? They get fined that much for, bad parts or something. I don't know. $1 billion that it could have gone for anything. Could have been used for anything. Research and development, worker training, worker safety, building safety. There's a lot of things they could have done. But now everybody sits and waits. Not good. Entire geographical areas are starting to feel the pinch as business slows at restaurants, stores, recreational facilities. In towns where manufacturing plant is the main employer, the economy slowly grinds to a halt. Not to mention that company has moved some workers. Oh yeah, the company has, General Motors has moved some of the company workers into health plans called Cobra. Yeah, anybody's had that, That's not good. That's like an interim gap thing. That's a Band-Aid is what that is. What do they want? What do the workers want? What is the whole deal here? What's going on? I'm going to tell you what they want, and I got to tell you, we're on the side of the workers right here. I am. I'm going to tell you full disclosure, and this has nothing to do with WIMS and WHFB and anybody else's opinion but mine. This is Big George the Carguy's opinion only, but I'm with these guys. The rank and file took concessions during the recession of 2009. Wage cuts, benefits, and affordable health care. They want these back because they fear they will never get them back if another recession should occur. And they will be even more, and they will give up even more. They'll be down. The UAW is bargaining for fair wages, affordable health care, job security, profit sharing, and a defined path for permanent employers or employment of temp workers. And of course, the company wants to keep these their manufacturing costs to a minimum. So they're fighting them. But 2009, that's 10 years ago. When the car companies got bailed out and all this, and they're not even at those levels anymore. They haven't gotten that back. They're paying more for their insurance. They're not getting as many benefits. They don't have the wages they had in 2009. They took the cuts because everybody had to buckle up and tighten the belt to get through the recession. The car companies needed to get bailed out, and they had to restructure. They had to do this. They had to do that. And all the union guys said, you know what? To keep everybody working, we'll take the cuts. But never got them back. Not all of them. They're not at the level they should be. They're just not there. The way our economy is booming, especially in the car world. Come on. I see no reason that the auto workers cannot at the very least get back to their level of 2009 with maybe a little bonus for their loyalty and abiding with GM for all these years. I mean, come on, face it. It's just not right. Come on, 2009, they gave up what they had to give up to keep the cars rolling and the doors open. And the manufacturer said, "Well, thank you guys. It's really nice of you to be, help us out." And they never helped them back. And you hear these stories where GM is throwing up profits like crazy. At the break, Eric, the super engineer, handed me this little tidbit, came over on the wire. They have reached a tentative pact today in the UAW GM strike. The minute they announced that pact, General Motors General Motors stock rose 1.5% in the afternoon trading. So tell me this didn't make a difference. They don't have a real pact yet. They don't have anything signed. It's all got to be ratified by the rank and file. Everybody's got to look at it, but they have a temporary stoppage or temporary pact. Nobody says that it's a tentative deal. Nobody knows if they're going to go back to work yet. Nobody knows when. But they need to get everybody back to work and get our economy back where it belongs and get Chevy back on the road and get the dealers open. I'm going to tell you a story about, I called the other day. I have an old man, his gas line was leaking. Couldn't drive the car. I can't let you drive. I said, Kyle, I can't let you drive this car. It's leaking gas. You got to have this special gas lines that are made for your car. I can get them. They got to come from the General Motors dealer. I'm going to call. Well, I called one dealer. He had one. He says, but I can't sell it. I said, what? So I called another one. I got the other one, but I can't sell it. So I have a friend that runs a parts store or parts department in Chevy, and I called him. I'm not going to say where, because he's a friend and a confidant. And he's a good guy. And I said, hey, you got these gas lines? He goes, I have one set left. And if I sell them to you, I'll get shot. He says, what are you talking about? He goes, they need them for my shop. These are very popular gas lines. They always go bad. These cars I've known to have these gas lines, they rot in the very same spot. Every dealer stocks at least 2-3 sets of them. Well, we're all out of them now. We're down to our last set. And I would have to turn away a customer of ours, or one of my mechanics would have to lose a job because we don't have any gas lines. And you got to be kidding me. I could not buy those lines. And you know what? I think about it. I didn't blame him. I thought, you know what? He's taking care of home. He's taking care of what's right. And I can't blame him for that. But this strike has brought a lot of people to their knees. I'm telling you, these dealers got no parts. The mechanics have very little work. They're not selling any cars. Like I said, everybody's afraid to buy a car. Nobody, plus all the people that work for them, 46,000 people. Out of those 46,000, how many do you think buy GM cars every other 3-4 years? They make $30 an hour. Come on, that's pretty good money, and so they can afford a GM car, a new one. So anyway, my take on this thing is that the rank and file needs to get back up to their levels, maybe a little extra bonus. Give them what they want. They're there. I don't know anything about this pathway to employment. I'm not sure what that's about. I'm going to talk to somebody about it and find out what they're talking about. But they want their health benefits back. They want everything back to the level. Get us back up where we belong. Get the UAW. And now the UAW doesn't cover just GM. GM is not the only one that did this to them in 2009. Ford and Chrysler are absolutely the same. And they all have the same deal with the UAW. But GM is the one that's been trying to bribe the UAW a little bit and beat them up a little bit and close some plants. And they say, well, we're going to close this plant if you don't let us. They're trying to get their way, plain and simple. And they've done it some sneaky ways, and it just hasn't worked. The UAW says, wait a minute. You're making tons of dough, thousands of millions of dollars, zillions of dollars, whatever you want to call it. We want our fair share. We want to be brought up to where we belong, at least to the old level that we gave in at, the one we gave you back, the one we told you, okay, don't worry about it. We'll take the concession, keep everybody working, let's do it. Let's build the company back up. And they did it. Don't get me wrong, this is the workers. This is not the fat cats. This is not the executives at GM or the fat cats at the UAW that stole the money. These guys did nothing. They just beat up on the rank and file till they said, okay, cut the wages, cut the benefits a little bit, blah, 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 blah. Freeze everything, we'll be good. 10 years. 10 years they've lived with this. Can you imagine not having a raise in 10 years? Huh? Come on. This is not right. They just have to get their selves together a little bit. They just do.